Leg victory, Paul, just what you'd anticipated. The way he went through the race, probably not.
It's testing our ground, and it's good that he's beginning to switch off a little bit the last couple of times. He's a bit free, and then he stayed on quite nicely. Ruby said the ground is as deep as he's ridden on here, and it's just good enough. But he's one of those horses it switches off, and then you just say, you pick him up. And someone asked Ruby that a minute ago. He said, well, the winning post is at the top of the hill, not the top of the hill, a mile away from home, and that's just the nature of him. And you like to see a horse, the further they go, the better they go. And really pleased with him.
And was he deliberately trying to get him anchored and get him? You can't really get cover in a two-horse race.
No, this is a problem, and you're always going to be better in a more competitive race. But it's just looking in the long term. To be a good horse, they have to learn to settle in a race and not just run too free. And the first couple of times he was free enough, although he stayed on really strongly. And we haven't done a lot with him. We just ticked him over for today, and he'll have a little break now and then come back for some races in the spring.
Now, Ruby's darted into the sauna because he's supposed to draw 10 stone to ride Shooter's Wood. What's he going to do you think?
I'd be very surprised if he does 10 stone, but to be honest with you, on this ground, £2 or £3 difference isn't going to make, it won't make too much difference, because on this ground, one good jump or something like that will make all the difference. So it's not a problem.
Well, you talk about good jumps. He produced a magnificent round of jumping at the last meeting, which must give you great confidence.
It does. I'd just be very concerned about the ground. I know the owner thinks he doesn't go on the ground. I think he probably doesn't stay 2.5 on this ground. He's got 10 stone, so we'll have to see. And it might well be that if he doesn't go on the ground, we'll leave him until the spring.
And you tongue tie him, don't you? And that seems to have brought about a bit of a difference.
He's definitely been a bit thick of his wind, and we just sort of thought it would help him, which it did. And he's probably better going left-handed than he was a couple of times right. But he has just improved as he's got fitter, funny enough.
Later on, the big guns come out. Union East and Crystal Bonus in the Paul Stewart race, a race I know I'm sure you'd love to win. Given that wishful thinking has now come out, are you slightly kicking yourself as regards Union East and claiming off him?
Well, no, in a lot of ways it suits Crystal Bonus. We were going to run for the Peterborough, and I wouldn't have wanted to run today off 11-12, so wishful thinking's helped him by being in, really. He won very nicely in Down Raw last time. He's a great horse on soft ground, so I think he's got a leading chance. And it's helped him enormously. And the other lad, Harris, claiming the 5 off, so he's carrying 9 stone 9, so it hasn't made too much difference.
The handicap has had a bit of a stab in the dark as regards Unionist. Do you think he's underestimated him?
I don't know. It's just quite an attractive mark, and off that you get £7 for your added allowance to this time of year as well. So in effect, he's running off 130. It's a big ask now for a 4-year-old to stay this trip on this ground, but he's been running round O'Toy all summer in bad old ground. He's bred to stay. We'll see. I don't know.
And the international hurdle is a real head scratcher, really, because we don't really know whether any of them will truly love the ground. But you're probably a bit more hopeful than Harry or Nicky.
Because he's a stayer probably. He's more a stayer than he's a speed horse. But then the same applies to Rock and Ruby in a lot of ways. He's won over 2.5 before, and both Rock and Ruby and Zarkanda both had breathing operations in the past. So it's not ideal running horses on really deep ground who've had breathing operations. But Zarkanda won their donuts on very soft. He won at Wincanton, not soft enough ground, but nothing like today. So we're all a little bit, as you say, a stab in the dark.
And with all this soft ground around, all the rain around, do you have to adapt anything in order to get horses even fitter to come to the races? Do you have to put more work into them?
No, not necessarily. We like to think they're all fit when they run, whatever. But what we try and do is what I call a 5 furlong flat gallop. We try and when the ground's like this, harrow it that much deeper, so they're used to working or cantering in really soft ground. And one thing I've learned from watching the horses in France, they train them on very deep ground, and they're used to running in O'Toy on very deep ground. It sort of matches, and it can change the other way a little bit. And when the horses come from France, have been used to training on deep ground, you train them on better ground or better weathers, and you're struggling a bit because they lose that ability to go in the soft. So you have to try and adapt a little bit, make the gallops at home that little bit softer, yes.
Paul, thanks for chatting to us. Best of luck with the others. Well done with Far West.
Thanks, Nick.